All right, let's go to the messenger, click receive all, and this is what we got. This is what people didn't loot when they killed us yesterday. Should have been yesterday, right? Okay. His commando, like, super... Oh, it doesn't suck. It's literally the same as this. It's just a different color. That's weird, isn't it? Why does that exist? We've got some armor here that's really not worth wearing, almost, but... we'll see. Okay. Can I type in FPS 1 here? Okay, let's get our Scavrun in first. I really suck right now, so I have to get better by making sure I do all my scav runs. Should we stick to Shoreline? Maybe we should stick to Shoreline. Nah, screw it. I'm starting off with a nice rig, at least. I don't know if I have a backpack on. I think these straps are just for the rig. Oh, but I do have headphones. Pog. This is gonna be insane if this works as well as, like, I think it's going to. Watch it also boost my my FPS for, like, the all streaming. And I just, like, all I have to do is that. Like, the all streaming. Like, all I have to do is that. It's already boosting performance, like, insanely, an insane amount. Ultimate performance mode. Who knew that that was a thing? Why is that, like, locked with until you use a admin command? That's kind of stupid, isn't it? Fully optimized. You know what I need? Is this. Okay, everyone be quiet. Listen. Delicious. Delicious. It is so good. It is so good. My FPS is gonna be like 70 while streaming. Watch. Even the loading screen, it would get down to like 5, right? And it's already like at 60. All right, hang on. BRBs. Hey, someone's here. What up? Hang on, I gotta take a photo of something. Hey, Rexy's here. Dude, we are fully optimized, bro. Check out this FPS. Right now, in the loading screen, it's capped to 60. So it's at 60, 61. Right? I looked up this, like... I finally found a full optimization video. There's, like, a command you can put into Windows where you unlock an ultimate high performance mode. And then there's also a bunch of other stuff. Okay, we're down to 5 right now. That's just because it's loading the entire map. So once we get in game, it's going to be like at 70 or 80. I bet. We'll see, though. We'll see. I set the settings as if my computer is, like, terribly sucky, and it's not. So it should be, like, really good. But we'll see. This is the first time I'm booting up. I'm like loading into a game since it started. So, and it's only a scav run, so it doesn't count. Like I didn't buy any of this gear. This is just if I can extract with it, then I get it for free, right? So that's good. But we'll see. I need to take a couple pictures, but I want to get into the game first. I have to go. I have to go look at a couple things. Just in a sec. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Rexy. It's actually taking forever right now. I hope it's not frozen. It just chugged. Are we in? Is it just gonna instantly put me into the game without even like giving me a timer or anything? It's loading. Yikes. It's a little bit scary. Because this is the first time I'm loading it, so like I wonder if maybe I pressed one of the buttons wrong. The video that I followed, there's like so many settings that I changed. So many settings. I kinda want my webcam to be bigger. Then you can like actually see me. Like what if I put it just here? I don't know where I want it to be. What if I just put it like there? No, I don't know, man. Over here, I can't put it here because down at the bottom left is where you see my. Maybe I'll mess with it when we get into game. Okay, we're still kind of hovering around like 45, but we'll see now. It just had an issue loading the map. That's so weird. Because now it still has to match make me. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna take a couple. I'm gonna do something really quick, and I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You guys can't see me from there. We're still matching. The load times from this game are so crazy. This is proof that this game is not optimized, alright? It's not me. It's not me. It is the game. I need to look up what the in game you can like use. There's like little sound bites that you can play. I'm against Yone Top. Yone Top, dude. As a Jax, doesn't seem that bad because he has very predictable trading patterns, right? So when he does his E dash forward, then you just counter strike. Helicopter. Alright. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. No, what are you doing? Freaking cat. I'm gonna smash him with my lamp post. This is actually what your champion does. Hey son, what are you doing in your game? Oh, I'm just beating this guy to death with the lamppost. That's so... Holy cow. Imagine saying that to your parents, right? They'd be like, you're not allowed to play this game anymore. Look at my gun. It actually has this arrow, this bar right here, this bar right here in the back. It's like a shoulder rest for your pistol. It's actually cool. Neat. Nature's neat. Nobody plays this game during the day. What in the world? Let me in. BRB. Yeah, whatever, dude. I mean, come back. No. He's leaving. It's okay. You are allowed. I just want to get in game. I'm not even gonna shoot anyone. I'm literally gonna like mess with my settings and stuff. I mean, I'll shoot someone after I do that, but you know, priorities. I need water. Preparing the game. Connecting to server. Loading loot. Load that 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 loot. Clean my keyboard. Seems like the load times are pretty bad still. Like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's just this one game we were matching for so long. At least it's displaying everything properly. And I still have FPS during it. It's not constant 5 FPS the whole time. What I'm kind of afraid of actually is my computer overheating, right? Because now I have full utilization. It's not overheating at all. It's only at 75 Celsius. If it gets like over 80, 82, 83, that's kind of bad, but should be okay. It is on full screen, which means I can alt tab and I can still see what's on this screen. Or on borderless is what it's on. If I put it on full screen, then it's going to... Then it might be a little bit better with FPS. But we'll see. I think that where my camera currently is might be the best place for it. Just like putting it here. Because then when I talk, you can still see my hands. Because this is how I talk. And it's this hand that you need to see. Because I do. I think it might maybe a little bit further over. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we get. Holy moly. 6 FPS, okay. 11, 20. It's still loading everything. It's actually terrible. The FPS is actually so much worse. It's doomed. It's actually doomed. It's so much worse than what it was. The FPS is terrible. Terrible. It changed some things, but not all of it. It's so bad. What if I put it back on full screen? Does it freak out then? It's actually so bad, dude. Like, this is unplayable right here. What if I turn off VSync? Watch it just skyrocket. Someone hit the button. Holy cow. Oh, maybe that. I can't, like, just do nothing, right? I could just try and play with terrible FPS. Yeah, just crawl everywhere. But I can't go all the way under that truck. Okay. This is so bad. I'm gonna have to revert it. I didn't know there's a weapons case in here. It's so bad, isn't it? Holy cow. And what if I wasn't... I got an ADAR. Wait, that's sick. We could just run to the extract really quickly. I'm no stranger to low FPS. We're just gonna try and loot whatever we can. Oh! Oh! What? Grenades! These dudes just threw grenades at me and I didn't die! How does he even know I'm still alive? Why is he still throwing nades? Oh my gosh, those guys are so bad! This game is loud. Also, didn't work. It didn't work at all. Why? I'm gonna go back to this video and say this didn't work at all.
What's going on, guys? It is Panjado here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the ultimate 2020 FPS increase guide for Escape from Tarkov. This video is going to be tailored towards every PC out there, regardless of what specs you're running on.
Went from a stable 88 frames to 40 frames.
Regardless.
It's a guide on maximum frames, and he lowers lobby FPS to 30. What a noob. What? Now I want to double check all of it and make sure I did all this right.
Of your system specs, we're going to be fully optimizing the game for the best gameplay experience possible for your machine. This video contains a plethora of tweaks and optimizations in which we can apply to the game to not only boost FPS, fix or smooth out any stuttering issues you might be experiencing, but to also enhance your game from a visual standpoint as well, to allow you that competitive advantage whilst keeping a good looking game. Speaking of results, please leave your results, questions, queries or suggestions for other content you would like to see come to the channel in that comment section down below, as it is always fantastic to hear from you guys. And if you guys do enjoy this video and are happy with the results,
250 plus FPS.
And if you guys do enjoy my content,
Yeah,
please
right.
press that subscription button alongside the bell notification to be notified instantly whenever I upload. With all that said and out of the way, let's get straight on into the video. So to start off, it's recommended that you take yourself into the description down below, where you'll be seeing 2 download links for the EFT or Escape from Tarkov.
The game is
FPS
still
pack
loading,
provided
by the way.
itself. It is highly recommended that you download this pack, as this pack contains a lot of the tweaks and optimizations we're going to be using throughout this video. So click on one of the download links. If the first download link doesn't work for any reason, you're having issues downloading the file, try out the second download link, place the file onto your desktop, and you'll be given a EFT FPS pack by Panj. To unzip this folder, it's very simple and easy to do. Go ahead and right click on the folder, then choose the option.
Oh yeah, there it was.
Take
117.
yourself over to Google,
Gosha
Google
Vintores.
Settings or WinRAR, and select
They were
one of those
scabs.
programs. Come back to
If
the
I
folder,
had better
you'll be able to
FPS, I would have
extract
been
the
like
files.
kind of
Then go ahead and
okay.
click extract here. You'll then be given a folder in your desktop with an identical name. It's highly recommended before following along with this video that you actually set up a system restore point. The main reason we're going to be setting up a system restore point, for anyone wanting to just test out these optimizations and see how their game is affected and see if they wish to keep them, you can test them out safely and easily and revert anything back with a few clicks of a button if you set up a restore point at this point in the video. Setting up a restore point is highly recommended before proceeding on, so if for any reason, you can simply revert your game, windows and everything else back to the state it was in before following along with this video. So to set up a system restore point is very quick and easy to do. Take yourself to the bottom left hand side, click on the Windows key, type in system space restore just like so, and click on create a restore point. This will then bring you to the system
We're gonna let
properties,
the game
protection.
load for
Go ahead
now.
and scroll down until you find your local disk C drive. Go over and make sure that protection is turned on. If protection isn't turned on, highlight the C drive, go down to configure, set the maximum usage to about 5% using the slider. Go up to the top here to turn on system protection. Go to the bottom right, press apply, press OK.
Exit
Once we're then
the
back
game.
inside of this page, we can then go down to the bottom right once again, and this time
What if I
press
needed to
Inside
restart my
this, simply here,
computer
the
for some of
restore
it to
point
be
you'll
in?
remember, so we'll just call this Tarkov, and then press create. After a few short moments, the system restore point will be created. We can then go ahead and press close, and we've successfully set up a system restore point, allowing us to follow along with this guide with complete confidence. Now that all of those steps are out of the way, let's get straight on into the nitty-gritty optimizations contained within inside of this video. To start off, we're going to go ahead with some basic optimizations to the Tarkov application itself. For this, what we're going to do is simply boot into the Battlestate Games launcher. With inside of here, we're then going to go up to settings, and whilst we're in here, we can actually set up a few settings for the launcher itself. First of all, we're going to go down to when I close the launcher window, go to this drop down menu and set the option for exit the launcher. When I launch the game, we're going to go to this drop down menu and set this to exit the launcher completely. From here, what we're going to do is scroll down and look for the game directory. And what we're simply going to go ahead and do is click on that directory, it will be highlighted, click on the directory and you'll be brought to the game's installation folder. With inside of here, we're going to start off by going down to the Escape from Tarkov application, right clicking, going to properties, going to the compatibility tab, checking the option for disable full screen optimizations, selecting change high DPI, overriding the high DPI scaling behavior by clicking this button, pressing OK, apply and OK. We're going to repeat the optimization to the BattleEye launcher as well. Once we're done with inside of there, we can then go ahead and simply exit out as the optimization has been completed. For this next step, what we're going to be doing is actually setting the process priority with inside of the game, so every time the game boots, it's booting into high priority mode with inside of Windows. Double click on the pack, go to the optimizations folder, and go into the folder titled Tarkov Process Priority. Double click, and you'll be met with these keys. With inside of here, clicking on one of these keys will set the priority mode with inside of Windows every single time the game is booted. If you select normal priority, this is the default option. If you go with high priority, Tarkov will be booted into high. Select clicking on titled priority mode with inside of Windows. Double click on the pack and you'll be met with these keys. With inside of here, clicking on one of these keys will set the priority mode with inside of Windows every single time the game is booted. If you select normal priority, this is the default option. If you go with high priority, Tarkov will be booted into high priority mode with inside of Windows every single time you boot it. If for some reason high priority is stressing your game too much and you're noticing stuttering using this, try out above normal priority. For most people watching, high priority will give the best results, so we're going to go ahead and double click on high priority, select yes, yes, and high priority too much
Says
and you're
what?
noticing stuttering using this, try out above it. If for some reason high priority is stressing your game too much and you're noticing stuttering using this, try out above normal priority. For most people watching, high priority will give the best results, so we're going to go ahead and double click on high priority.
Think I need high
select
priority?
Yes, yes, and OK. And that key's successfully been set up, and the game will boot into high priority every single time. This now brings us down to a very quick Windows optimization. We can navigate to the bottom left hand side, clicking on the Windows key, and we're going to be typing in game space mode, and we're going to be looking for game mode settings. With inside of here, go
And
to
you
the
make sure
mode
game
flicker
mode's
switch and
on.
to the on position. As with the latest updates
That's
of Windows,
right.
game mode is highly recommended to have on for more demanding games, such as Tarkov, so for the best results, make sure this is switched on. For the next optimization, what we're going to be doing is actually navigating to the bottom left hand side, clicking on the Windows key, typing in regedit just like so, and then pressing the enter button. Go ahead and press yes, and the Windows registry editor will open up. What we're going to be doing is navigating over to the left hand side, going to H key current user, clicking on the arrow, going down to the system folder, clicking on the arrow once again, going down to game config store, clicking on the arrow, and then going to the children folder. Highlight the children folder found here at the top, right click on the children folder, and we're going to be looking for the find option. With inside of here, simply then type in escape from Tarkov.exe, just like so, and then press next. A folder on the left hand side will be highlighted with a bunch of random numbers and letters. Click on that folder, then on the right hand side you should see matched exe full path, and this should be the exe application for Tarkov. If you successfully found this folder and it's highlighted, go back over to the folder, go ahead and right click and select export. Just set this up as default Tarkov or anything you remember and hit save. Once you guys have done that, you'll then notice a registry file will then appear on your desktop. If at any point you wish to get this folder back inside of your Windows registry editor, all you simply need to do is double click on this registry key down here and it will re-add the folder completely. Go ahead back to the folder, this time right click, select delete and select yes. Once you guys have done that, we can then go ahead and exit out of the registry editor. For the next optimizations, they're going to be quite similar to the previous optimization, but they're going to be a lot easier to apply. For this, what we're going to be doing is navigating inside of the FPS increase pack, going over to the optimizations folder, and we're going to be looking for the reg optimization fixes folder. With inside of here, you're going to be seeing a bunch of registry keys in which we're going to be applying one by one, going inside of the F, similar to the previous pack, going optimization, but they're going to be on exit out of the registry editor. For the next optimization, delete and select yes. Once you guys have done that, we can then go ahead and exit out of the registry editor. For the next optimizations, they're going to be quite similar to the previous optimization, but they're going to be a lot easier to apply. For this, what we're going to be doing is navigating inside of the FPS increase pack, going over to the optimizations folder, and we're going to be looking for the reg optimization fixes folder. With inside of here, you're going to be seeing a bunch of registry keys in which we're going to be applying one by one, going all the way from the top to the bottom. If at any point you wish to revert any of these optimizations back, it's very simple and easy to do. Go to the folder found here at the top, titled default reg files. Go inside of here, you can simply click on these keys one at a time, and clicking on these keys will reset the default value with inside of your reg edit. What we're going to be doing is going back, starting off with disable DVR1, yes, yes, and OK, disable DVR2, full screen fix, yes, yes, OK, game optimizations, and once you've applied game optimizations, you'll then be met with the low to medium end optimization and the medium to high end optimization. For the best results, you wish to click on the optimization which best matches your system specs. So if you believe you have a low to medium end PC, go with the low to medium. If you have a medium to high end, go with medium
It's
to
so
high end.
annoying,
The
isn't
best
it?
results will be found by matching this correctly. So for me, I'm recording this video on my high end gaming PC, so I'm going to be going with medium to high end, double clicking, yes, yes, and OK. We can then go ahead and exit out of that folder as the optimization has been completed. This now leads us on to the part of the video where we're going to be booting into the game and setting up our in-game settings correctly for the best FPS possible. So for now, what we're going to be doing is navigating back over to the Battlestate Games launcher and going ahead and booting into Tarkov. Once you guys have booted into the main menu of Tarkov, take yourself to the bottom right hand side and click on the settings cog. With inside of here, we're then going to navigate over to the top left hand side to the graphics tab, and to start off we can go ahead and set up our graphics options first. For this, we're going to be starting off with screen resolution, going to the drop down menu and selecting the native resolution for your PC. For me, that's going to be 2560 by 1440. If you guys are running on lower end systems, it is recommended to bump your resolution down one or two settings. So for me, if I want the best FPS possible, it is actually better off for me to go with 1920 by 1080, as this will typically improve render resolution instead of using the resampling option found here. This will make the game look a lot more crisp, and some recommended resolutions will be appearing on the right hand side of the screen now, depending on your system specs. But for the most part, set this to your native resolution. For this video we're going to be actually uncapping our FPS, as this will give you guys the best FPS possible, but it will also help reduce input lag if set up properly. So for this what we're going to be doing is actually enabling VSync, as this allows us to uncap the FPS. I know this sounds quite counterintuitive and this can increase input lag in some cases, but if set up properly, in which we're going to be doing after we're done with the in-game settings, this actually improves performance across the board. It is also recommended to take yourself over to screen mode and go with borderless mode. If you're running on an ultra low end or lower end laptop, you might find the best results possible actually going with full screen, but for most capable PCs who are just looking for an FPS increase, I would definitely recommend checking out borderless mode. Overall graphics quality, we can leave this alone. Texture quality. This is one of the most important options within inside of this video. Texture quality should be matched to your overall system specs. If you're on a low end system, go with low end. If you're on a medium end system, go with medium. And if you're on an ultra high end or high end PC, go high at the highest. The reason you want to set this up properly and match this to your system specs, as in most case scenarios, running low end can actually decrease your FPS on a higher end PC. So match this to your system specs. This now brings us down to shadows quality. This option is going to be set to either low or medium depending on your system specs. If you are on a low end PC or getting really low FPS already, set this to low, but if you're just looking for a significant FPS bump and you're on a somewhat decent gaming PC, set this to medium, as this will be giving you guys the best results, as it will be utilising more of the GPU power to render the shadows rather than offloading them to the CPU to handle. Object LOD quality, we're going to be setting this down to 2. Overall visibility, depending on the map you're playing, this should be set to 400. If you're playing on a this now brings us down, actually you want to set this up properly and match this to your system specs, as in most case scenarios, running low end can actually decrease your FPS on a higher end PC. So match this to your system specs. This now brings us down to shadows quality. This option is going to be set to either low or medium depending on your system specs. If you are on a low end PC or getting really low FPS already, set this to low, but if you're just looking for a significant FPS bump and you're on a somewhat decent gaming PC, set this to medium, as this will be giving you guys the best results, as it will be utilising more of the GPU power to render the shadows rather than offloading them to the CPU to handle. Object LOD quality, we're going to be setting this down to 2. Overall visibility, depending on the map you're playing, this should be set to 400. If you're playing on a really long range map and you're sniping, set this up to 1000 at the most, but my recommended setting will be 400 for all playstyles. This can sound quite low, but trust me, try out these settings in game later on, and I guarantee you'll be happy with the results. Shadow visibility is also going to be set all the way down to 40. Anti-aliasing is going to be switched to off, or if you don't like how sharp and jaggy the game looks with this turned off, set this to TAA, otherwise turn it off. Resampling mode is going to be set to 1 times, which is off. If you guys are running on super low end PCs and you really want the best FPS possible and you don't mind how bad the game looks, for the best FPS on ultra low end, set this to 0.5 times downsampling and set your screen resolution to something really low up here in the top left hand side. But for most people, set this to 1 times and leave this off. HBAO should be switched to off, SSR should be switched off, anisotropic filtering should also be switched off. Sharpness can be set to anything you wish to do so, this is personal preference and does not affect performance. I like a sharpness of 0.7. Lobby FPS limit should be set to 30, as there's no reason to keep this higher, and it keeps the GPU cooler for longer. Game FPS limit should be set all the way up to 120. Z-blur, chromatic aberrations, noise and grass shadows should all be unchecked. Once those have been set up, take yourself over to the right hand side and press save. Take yourself back to the bottom right hand side once again, back to the settings cog, this time going over to post FX, and it is highly recommended to actually disable all post FX within inside of the game, as this can drastically decrease FPS. And honestly, you shouldn't actually be using these options, as many of the options are still available within inside of the Nvidia control panel and the AMD Radeon settings panel. If you want a sharper or more saturated looking game, set these up within inside of your control panels and not the game settings. For the best FPS possible, leave this unchecked. Once that's set, once again go ahead and press save, then navigate over to the top left hand side to game, and within inside of here we're going to simply uncheck every single option. Do not have auto RAM cleaner enabled, do not have Nvidia highlights enabled, do not have use only physical cores enabled. These options used to improve FPS in many cases, but following along with this guide and with the latest updates of Tarkov, these are the best settings for the best FPS. Take yourself to the bottom right hand side finally one last time, press save, and we can then go ahead and exit Tarkov. This now leads us on to some of the most important optimizations within inside of this entire video. For the first of these incredibly important optimizations, we're actually going to be clearing out our GPU shader caches. This is highly recommended and should not be skipped, as this can boost performance on pretty much every game you are playing, especially Tarkov. We're going to start off by showing you guys how to clear out your shader caches for Nvidia cards. For AMD users, simply skip to the timestamp on screen now. So first of all, for you Nvidia users, navigate to the bottom left hand side, click on the Windows key, type in this space PC, and click on this PC. We're then going to go inside of our local disk C drive, and with inside of here we're going to be looking for the folder titled Program Data. Like me, if you cannot see Program Data at the moment, it's very simple and easy to see this folder. Navigate up to the top then scroll down for the option that says Hidden Files and Folders, and click the option titled Program Data. Go inside of Program Data, scroll all the way down to the end section, and we're going to be looking for the NVIDIA Corporation folder. Don't just go inside of NVIDIA, look for NVIDIA Corporation. Double click, with inside of here go inside of the NV_cache folder, and with inside of here what we're simply going to go ahead and do is highlight everything with inside of this folder, right click, but go ahead and delete those files. You may be given a few prompts that the file is in use, that's fine, click do this for all current items and hit skip. For the most part, most of the files inside of that folder should now be removed, and that's great. What we can now go ahead and do is actually exit out of that folder, and there's a few more places we need to delete our shader cache from before we're completed. Navigate to the bottom left hand side once again, this time typing in %appdata just like so, and pressing enter. Once you're inside of it, go up to the navigation bar at the top, click on the app data folder, then go inside of the local folder, and we're going to be looking for the folder titled D3DS cache. Go inside of here. Once inside of the D3DS cache folder, regardless of how many folders are inside of here, simply go ahead and highlight all of them, right click and select delete once again. Once everything has been deleted with inside of that folder, then go ahead and press back, and we're then going to go ahead and scroll down to the end section. This time we're going to be going inside of the NVIDIA folder, not NVIDIA Corporation like we did earlier, just the NVIDIA folder. With inside of there, we're then going to be going inside of the GL cache folder, and once again, every folder with inside of here with a random letter and number, highlight every single one of those folders, right click and select delete. We can then take ourselves back up to the back button again, press back a few times, go back inside of local, scroll all the way down to the T section and look for a folder called TEMP, and with inside of here, one last time, highlight everything with inside of the temp folder, right click and select delete. Hit do this for all current items and hit skip. Skip once again, and once you're done with inside of there, you can then go ahead and exit out, and our shader cache has been completely reset and removed. To reset the shader cache for AMD Radeon graphics cards, it's very simple and easy to do. Take yourself over to the desktop, right click and open up the air, click on the inside, easy to gain, ensure that everything is running correctly inside of our graphics control panels. To set some complements, and select the mid hand side, copy, apply, title the top left of our game, and further boost FPS. So open up the NVIDIA control panel. Once inside of here, go up to the top left hand side to adjust image settings with preview, and select the middle option found with inside of here, titled use the advanced 3D settings. Once they're selected, go to the bottom right hand side and press apply. Once that's been set, go to the left hand side to manage 3D settings. You want to loosely copy as many of the settings inside of here as possible as you can. Starting off with image sharpening, going to the drop down menu, I recommend keeping this enabled. I like to set this to a setting of 0.20 and 0.13 on ignore film grain, and do not set the option for GPU scaling with inside of here. This option is used for other games and it's a good option to have enabled on other games, but for Tarkov, do not enable this. Press OK. Ambient occlusion should be switched off, anisotropic filtering should be application controlled, anti-aliasing FXAA off, gamma correction on, anti-aliasing mode off, CUDA GPUs should be set to all, DSR factors should be switched to off, low latency mode, go to the drop down menu with inside of here, this should be set to on and not ultra. Once this has been set to on, continue to scroll down. Max frame rate, you can cap your FPS with inside of all games using this option if you wish to do so. We're not going to be using this for this video, so switch this off. Multi-frame sampled AA, off. OpenGL rendering GPU, go to the drop down menu with inside of here and select the graphics card you have installed. Power management mode, this should be set to prefer maximum performance. Preferred refresh rate, go inside of here, go to the drop down menu and select the highest available. Shader cache should also be switched on. Texture filtering anisotropic sample opt highest, prefer maximum performance inside of here and select the graphics card you have installed. Power management mode, this should be set to prefer maximum performance. Preferred refresh rate, go inside of here, go to the drop down menu and select the highest available. Shader cache should also be switched on. Texture filtering anisotropic sample optimizations should be switched on. Texture filtering negative LOD bias allowed. Texture filtering quality high performance. Trilinear optimizations should be switched on. Threaded optimization, go inside of here and switch this to on. Most people recommend auto, some people recommend off, but for the best FPS possible with all of these settings and the latest updates of Tarkov, this should be switched to on. Triple buffering should be switched to off, and vertical sync, this must be switched off as we're using VSync with inside of the game and switching it off with inside of here to ensure that we can actually fully uncap the FPS and remove the excess input lag VSync uses. So make sure that is switched to off. Once all of those settings are set up, go to the bottom right hand side and press apply. We can then navigate over to configure surround and physics, go to the physics settings, go to the processor, click on the drop down menu, and select this to your graphics card and not your CPU. You can then navigate over to adjust desktop size and position, click on your main monitor in which you play Tarkov on, go down to the scaling mode and switch this to no scaling. Once you've got that option selected, go down to perform scaling on the GPU and make sure that your refresh rate is set up correctly to the highest refresh rate possible. And this basically helps us remove all of the scaling options inside of the GPU, which puts more stress on the GPU and can sometimes limit frames. And you can come back inside of here and change these settings at any time, but for the recommended settings for FPS, set these options found here. Once you guys have done that, go to the bottom right hand side and press apply. For AMD Radeon
There's
users,
one thing that wasn't there.
On the desktop, opening up the AMD Radeon software. Once again inside, I have some of the options. This is the inside that we get listed and set up to mention later that you guys
skip.
Power space plan. With inside of here, go to the edit power plan option, go to the bottom left hand side and type in power space plan. With inside of here, go to the edit power plan option. Once the power settings open up, navigate up to the navigation bar at the top, click where it says power options, go to the drop down menu for show additional power plans, and we're going to be looking for the ultimate performance power plan found here. If you do not see or have the ultimate performance power plan, do not panic. This is a secret power plan in which we can enable with inside of Windows and game use with options. Document go inside of that TM administrator. If you're not running the command prompt as an administrator, to be run, then go navigate fresh bar picture icon. For another quick and important optimization for anyone that uses Discord, even if you're not using Discord to speak to people, if the program is open in the background, you should be setting this optimization for the best FPS possible regardless of your system specs. To set this optimization, go ahead and open up into Discord, go to the bottom left hand side to your user icon, go to where it says user settings by the settings cog. You'll then be met with the main Discord settings page. Navigate over to the left hand side and look for the appearance tab. Once you guys have clicked on the appearance tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom, go to the advanced section, and we're going to be looking for the option titled hardware acceleration. If this option is switched on, it's highly recommended that you take yourself over to the flicker switch and switch this to the off position and pressing OK. Of stuttering issues inside of any differences. This now leads us on to optimization with ISLC and drag the increase back once again. Desktop. Once the folder is on the desktop, go inside of the folder. You'll then be met with the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner or ISLC application. At this point, you're probably wondering what this application is and why you wish to use it. This application basically allows you to free up excess RAM in the background, help keeping a reserved pool of RAM to ensure that you're not running out of RAM usage, which can cause a lot of stuttering and sometimes outright crashes with inside of most games. This is constantly clearing out background processes that don't need to be opened, and it's highly recommended to probably leave this running at all times on your PC. The program also has a fantastic feature built in, which I used to recommend in pretty much all of my videos, which is actually for the timer resolution. This allows you to set a lower timer resolution inside of Windows, allowing your game application, hardware, and operating system to communicate at a much more optimized rate to ensure that you guys are getting the most snappy, responsive feeling game possible. So to set this program up, go ahead and double click on the program, select yes. Once you've clicked on the program, if the program doesn't open up, take yourself to the bottom right hand side to the icon tray and find this small green monitor found here, double click and the program will open right up. For the first box in the top left hand side, we're going to be setting this to 1024. For the second box, which is titled free memory lower than, with inside of this box we're going to be setting this number to roughly half of our total system memory found here at the top. For me, I have 32,000 megabytes, so I'm going to be setting this to 16,000. If you guys had 16,000 up here, set this to 8,000, roughly halving the number of total system memory. Once that's set up, go to the right hand side, check the box for enable custom time resolution, go to the wanted time resolution box, clear out the box, type in 0.50, then use the delete key to remove anything off the end, so it just looks like that. Go to the bottom right hand side to the ISLC polling rate, set this to 500Hz for a medium end to high end PC, and set this to 1000 if your PC is slightly lower end. Once that's set up, go ahead to the bottom right hand side, click start, click purge standby list. It's now cleaned up around about 7+ gigabytes of reserved RAM in the background, allowing your operating system to stay clean and uncluttered. Once you guys have got the program running, go ahead and minimize the program. At this point, we're pretty much done with all of the optimizations, but before we boot into the game, it is important and recommended to close out of any excess programs that do not need to be open whilst you're playing the game. If you have Spotify, for instance, running in the background, close out of Spotify. If you have Steam open in the background and you're not using Steam, close that as well. Close out of Google Chrome, close out of all of the programs you do not need open whilst playing Tarkov. Just keep Tarkov open and Discord or whatever voice platform you use for the best FPS possible. At this point, we can then go ahead to the Battlestate game launcher, and last but not least, head over to the bottom right hand side and press play. And there you guys have it. That is the 2020 Ultimate FPS Increase Guide for Escape from Tarkov. Please do leave your results, questions, queries, or other tweaks or suggestions you might have for other people.
Okay. League later? Yeah, definitely League later. I'm just gonna, I wanted to try and test some things out for Tarkov right now. Sorry if you didn't say anything. I was watching a video. I'm gonna restart my computer and then